So, you guys already know what is castling, right? We learned castling. Castling is for which two pieces?
King.
King and?
King and rook.
King and rook. And how many steps does the king move for castling?
Two.
Two. So, now we're going to learn a few things you don't know about castling. And then we're going to learn the rule called en passant. En passant is a special rule for pawns.
Yeah, I saw that in the.
Yeah. That's a little bit confusing rule. First, let's understand castling properly. So, why do we castle, Adya? What's
To
in
keep
it?
the king safe.
To keep the king safe. So, after you castle, you'll have a pawn cover in front, which means your king will be safe compared to being in the middle, right? So, when you start the game, you start with the sender pawn, right? Either e4 or d4. Let's say black plays e5. In the opening, you have to just do three things: control the sender with the pawn, develop your knights and bishops, your minor pieces. We call them minor pieces. The
What
knights.
was rook?
Rook cannot come out in the opening. Rook comes out at the end. So if you want a good position, you have to develop your minor pieces. So it's better to start with the knights first and then bishops. We are attacking the pawn. So let's say let's defend. Now what would be a next move for white? If you're white, what would you do? Of course we won't take it. That will be bad for us. So what next? Any move. Let's ask Ishan. If you're white, what will you do? He can. Ishan.
Take out the bishop.
Take out the bishop. So where do you want to bring this bishop to? Give me a square.
In 6c.
A6. Did you check if it is good, bad or equal? It's a free piece. So if you go close to his pieces, you will get taken. So yeah, before you make a move, you have to see if it is safe for you. So Raika, where will you put your bishop? B5. B5 is good because you're attacking the king. He will block with the pawn. You will again have to run. So best place I would say is C4 because there you won't get attacked and you're sitting in a very nice diagonal, right? Now let's say black brings out his pieces, his knight. What is our next best move? Adya, if you are white, what will you do? Any suggestion for white? Hello guys. Please get settled fast. Please keep your bag up and please take your book and keep it with you. So I was asking Adya what you will play here for white.
Castling.
Exactly, that's the best option. Castling should be done as early as possible. We need to keep our king out of the center as early as possible. You still have to develop this knight and bishop, that's still left. But before that, you can get the king out of trouble. So castling is good. So for castling, you move the king 2 steps, right? And you put the rook next to the king. This is how you do castling. You can castle this side as well, but if you want to castle this side, it will take more time. You will have to develop these 3 pieces. So let's say you bring out your knight. Let's say black also brings out his bishop. You bring out your, oh yeah, the knight, sorry. Now you bring out your bishop with pawn d3 or d4. Let's say he takes, we take back, he brings out his bishop, you develop your bishop, either here or here, both are fine. And let's say he castles. Where will the king go, Vritti, for castling? Black king, where will the king move? Yeah, not in the rook's place. King goes 2 steps. Just 2. So here. And rook will come next to the king. So this is how we do castling, right? So castling is done to keep the king safe. That is the aim of castling. You move the king 2 steps, put the rook this side, and now king is safe from being in the center. You can see there is a set of 3 pawns in front protecting the king, right? So again, for those who came late, let's say this is the position. How does black do castling? Shravya, Vardhan, Inaya, how does the king castle? Yes, Vardhan?
Move the king to g8 and the f8.
F8. So that's clear to everyone, na? We do castling to keep the king safe. And how do we castle, Inaya? How many steps will the king move for castling? 2. So we move the king here and we put the rook here. So black castle. Now if white wants, you can castle this side now also. But if you want to castle this side, you also have to develop your queen. So let's say queen comes out. Let's say he brings out his bishop. And now we castle this side. For castling this side, how many steps will the king move? 3 steps, is it?
2.
It's always 2. Whether you castle left or right, king goes 2 steps for castling. Never 3. I mean, normally king goes 1 step. For castling, king goes 2 steps, not 3. It's always 2. So where will this king move, Shravya? For castling this side, where will the king move? That is that side. I'm talking about this side. If you want to castle this side, where will the king? Please keep the book with you, Ishan. Let Ishani sit there. Ishan, please keep the book with you. Yeah, please have you sit, Ishani. C1, exactly. So king moves to C1 and rook comes to D1. So this is how you castle on the left side, on the queen side. On the king side, you go 2 steps, rook here. Queen side also same thing, you go 2 steps, rook to the other side. And king is safe. Right? So this is how castling is done. Now there are a few situations where castling is not possible. So let's understand when is castling not possible. So let's say in this position, if we go a few moves back, let's say black played bishop check. He moved his bishop here. So let me ask Sia, if you are white, what will you do next? You are in a check. You cannot castle in a check. When you are in a check, you cannot do castling. Castling is not possible when you are in a check. So what to do, Sia? You are in a check from the bishop. What are we going to do? F1. Moving the king to F1. So now we have moved our king, right? Once you move your king, castling is never possible. You cannot do castling in this game because we've already moved our king. Or if you have moved your rook, I mean here you cannot move the rook, you are in a check. If you have moved your rook somewhere, you cannot do castling on that side. You can still castle this side, but that side you cannot castle because you already moved your rook.
Sir,
Yes,
if it goes back, then
still you cannot castle. Once you moved that rook or king, you cannot do castling. Even if you go back, like king moves here and then again goes back, rook was here. Let's say we moved our king and then after black castled or did some move, we came back. Still we cannot do castling because we moved our king. So once you move your king, castling is not possible. So when somebody gives a check, right, we should not move our king. If you move the king, we cannot do castling. We can't do castling later.
sir,
Yeah.
I want to see if the check.
Yeah, how do we remove the check?
Move the queen
Here.
to, yeah.
Then they'll take your queen, na? Do you want to lose your queen?
You can take it back.
You're taking what? What are you taking back?
That.
What is that?
Bishop is
You're taking a bishop and what are you losing? Is that good for you?
no.
That's bad for you. You're losing your most powerful piece. You're losing 9 points. So that is not the way to remove a check. Don't give up your queen. No, 1 second. Now let me ask others. So how do we remove this check, guys? Bishop has just given a check. Instead of moving the king or giving up our queen, what other option do we have to remove this check? What should white do? There's no need to tell me that. He told you, na? Vardhan, what's your problem? If you have an answer, you can tell me. You already told your answer. And the answer is not good. So now you have to wait for others to answer. There is no need to tell Inaya this move, please tell this. That's not good. It's not group discussion, right? If you have an answer, you will tell me. So Inaya, think on your own and then you can tell me what move to play. Did you understand what is attacking your king? Inaya, who is attacking your king? The bishop. Now tell me what can remove the check. What can you move? You're in a check. You can't move other things when your king is in check. So first you have to remove the check. There's no other option. You have to remove the check. Yes, Adya?
Can you put the C point to C3?
Yeah. We can just play pawn c3. You're attacking the bishop. If bishop takes, Vritti, if bishop takes, what will we do? If black takes the pawn, we are going to take with Yeah, will take the bishop, right? So bishop will probably move, and the check is gone. And now you can castle, right? You haven't moved your king, you haven't moved your rook, so you can do castling, right? So castling is possible when you're not in check. If you're in check, you cannot castle, or if you moved your king, you cannot castle. Now one more thing is, let's imagine a situation where, let's say this is the position, all right? Can we castle on this side? Is it possible to castle? Is there anything wrong with castling? King hasn't moved, rook hasn't moved, king is not in a check. So is there anything wrong with castling? But there is one problem. You cannot castle in this position because for castling you have to go till here. But there is a rook in the way. There is a check on the way. So the king cannot cross. You can't castle in this situation because if you try going here, there is a rook in the way. There is a check. So king cannot pass through a check for castling. So here you cannot do castling. You will have to block this somehow. For example, you can play knight here. And now next move you can castle. Or after that you can castle. So you can't castle if you moved your king or rook. You cannot castle when you're in a check. You cannot castle when you're going through a check. And also one more thing is, let's imagine there is a bishop over here. Can we castle in this position? Can we castle this side?
No.
Why not?
Because
Yeah.
the bishop will give us a check.
Yeah, we will be ending up on a check. After castling, king will be here. But you're going into a check. We moved right into a check. So that's not allowed, right? You can't move your king into a check.
That's illegal.
Yeah, that's illegal. So we cannot castle in this position. It's not possible. So you can't castle when there's a check on the way, at the end, or right now. Then you cannot castle. So if you block the check, you can castle afterwards, right? And one more thing, if your king has moved, you can never castle. If your rook has moved, you can still castle the other side, if this rook hasn't moved. So when you play the game, your aim should be develop your knights and bishops. Develop means bring them out. Bring your knights and bishops into the game and then do castling.
So I can move the check.
How? There's no check now, but how will you block the check?
Yeah, move the knight.
Yeah. Good.
Then if it kills the
Very good. If bishop takes, we'll take with the pawn. Same with knight takes. And now next move we can do castling. Can we do castling next move? No, we still can't castle. There's a rook in the way. So you'll have to somehow block this as well. Then you can castle. Yes, Vardhan?
we can't castle with the queen.
Of course not. Castling is for king and rook, not for queen. There's no need to talk about queen. Queen cannot do castling. Castling is a role between king and pawn, not other pieces. Yes. Yeah, king and rook. Sorry. King and rook. Yes.
Move the horse.
Knight, not horse. Knight.
Knight to
Huh.
uh,
What square is it?
F
Huh.
F5.
F5. But still you can't castle. You unblock this bishop. Bishop is opened up, na? So you can't castle that side so easily. So if you want to castle, let this knight stay there. Bring this guy out. I mean, you can block with the queen, but you lose the queen. That's bad for you. So you bring the knight out. Let's say black plays some move. You bring the knight out. Now next move you can castle. Right? You block the rook, you block the bishop, and you are ready to castle. So it's all fine. Yeah? So how many steps will the king move, Ishani, for castling? 2 steps. So king will go here and rook will come here. Right? And Pant, why do we do castling?
Because to save our king.
To keep the king safe. Right? So let's say after castling, we have this situation. Right? King is totally safe. King is completely safe because of these pawns. But he is too safe. It's too tight for the king. There's no space for the king. So after castling,
But just one more block.
see, imagine a situation where these pieces are gone. Okay? Black also has no piece. Imagine something like this. Black can just come down and give checkmate. Your king has nowhere to go. That happens a lot in games. If black just comes here, game is over. Right? The king cannot go anywhere. These pieces, imagine they're not there. King cannot go anywhere. It's just a back rank checkmate. Checkmate on the last rank. Back rank. Right? This is very common. To avoid something like this, if it is white's turn, After castling, open a small window for the king so that the king can breathe. You give him some space for him to move. So now if somebody comes here, king will run. There's no problem. Right? So castling is good, king is safe. But after castling, move that h pawn a little bit just to give space for your king so that he doesn't get checkmated on the last time. Right? So that's about castling. Now we come to a little bit confusing rule. It's called en passant. I'll tell you all about it.
Sir, I never remember the name.
Okay. So en passant is a rule. It's spelled as en for en. It's a French word. So en is pronounced as o. And passant is P-A-S-S-A-N-T. In English you can read it as en passant. But in French you say en passant. So en passant is a rule for pawns. So
I already know
okay, now let's say let's say white pawn is here. Okay, we moved a pawn here, then he made some move, we moved again. Now, listen very carefully, it might be confusing when you see it first time. En passant means if a pawn moves, okay, if a pawn moves 2 steps and passes your pawn. Ishani and Inaya, where are you focusing? We're learning a new rule, you're looking at the board. Then you will not understand any of this, no? So try to pay attention here. Otherwise, you will not even know what en passant is. Everyone else is paying attention. So, I was saying, if a pawn moves 2 steps and passes your pawn, then you can take it. You can take that pawn. So, if a pawn moves 2 steps and passes your
How
pawn,
did it pass?
pass, no? The pawn passed. En passant means in passing. The meaning of en passant is in passing. So if a pawn passes your pawn by moving 2 steps, only when it moves 2 steps. Otherwise you can't simply take it. When he moves 2 steps and passes your pawn, you can take it. You take that pawn. It's as if the pawn was here. Like when pawn is here, you will take it, right? Same way when he has moved this way, you can still take it.
How?
Like this.
The pawn
Like
is not
this.
in that car.
No, but it moved from that square, it moved through that square. So you can still take it. That's a rule in chess. It's called en passant. You don't have to take it, it's up to you. Whether you want to take it or not, it's up to you. But you can't take it after one move.
What did you call it?
En passant. En, en passant. What is it called?
Usually what is called in English?
What is it called?
On
En passant. Right? En passant. En passant. Why is it so hard to say en passant? En passant. Everybody is saying it, no? En passant. En passant, yeah. So, I'll show you one more time. If a pawn moves 2 steps and passes your pawn, you have the option of taking that pawn if you want to. But you can do it only in the next move. You can't do it after one move.
Then that pawn.
That is afterwards. After pawn takes, of course, this pawn can take back. That is next move. Right now, white can take this pawn if you want to take it. That's up to you. But you can't. That's not bad. How is it not good? It is equal. We learned it yesterday. When you make a decision, see if it is good, bad, or equal. So taking this pawn is equal. Black will take back. It's just equal, not bad. Now, coming back to the position, you can do this en passant only in the next move. You can't do it after 2 moves. So like after black played this move, if you play some other move and black plays some other move, now you can't take en passant. It's not possible. It's only possible in the immediate next move. As soon as black plays this, if you want, you can take that pawn. Right? Don't do en passant every time a pawn passes you. Like imagine this is a situation and black played this. Can you take en passant?
No.
No, you can't take en passant. Pawn just moved 1 step. Right? Only when it moves 2 steps you can take. And if your pawn is here, like imagine this pawn was here and black played this. Can white take this pawn? Yeah, en passant, you take it. He moved 2 steps, so you can take it. Right? So these are the special rules in chess. There's no other special rule. En passant, castling, and pawn promotion. These are the only three special things you have to understand. So now you know en passant and castling properly. So let's go to chapter 4, exercise number 1.